Did you know that Krist Novoselic is 6'7"? Like, if we stood next to each other, it would look like this. Wild. Anyway, this is How to Sound Like. My name is Andrew, aka AMP the bass player, and today we are going to dive into the nitty-gritty of how to get those sweet, sweet grunge tones from Nirvana's Nevermind with budget gear. Let's go! Krist is one of the few really prominent Gibson endorsers. Over the years, he's used things like Rippers, RDs, and Thunderbirds. Prior to recording Nevermind, he picked up a pair of Gibson Rippers, one blonde, one ebony, and that's largely what you hear on the album. For amps, he was using an Ampeg SVT 400T on top of a pair of 2x15s. I couldn't confirm for sure what they are, but they were big 215 cabinets. To my knowledge, no pedals were used on this album, with the exception of a Sansamp BDDI. I've been told by several sound engineers over the years that Ampeg's DIs are notoriously noisy, so this makes sense so that you can get a clean signal. And that is basically it for our equipment list. We've got our work cut out for today, but that means that we can turn our attention to our Zoom B1xFour and start building our patch here.
Oh, okay, pause just a second. I got a lot of comments in my last video about this pedal, and I want to address those comments, because a lot of people accuse me of being a Zoom shill, and that is just not true at all. First and foremost, the Zoom Corporation does not know I exist. I guarantee not one person over there knows who I am. I don't have a Zoom contact. And this, I bought this with my own money, and I'll tell you why. When I first started doing How to Sound Like videos, I was making patches for Amplitude and Logic, and what I found is that not a lot of people used those, right? They weren't that useful to people, but I kept getting requests for this pedal. So I went to Amazon, I bought one with my own money, and I've been using it ever since because this is perfect for this kind of thing. It's cheap, it's easy to get, and it sounds great. It's the perfect, trinity of things that you would want out of a pedal for this sort of deal. I gain absolutely nothing if you go out and buy these, even if you're gonna use the affiliate link that might be in the description, because that benefits the bass channel and not me. I never got set up with the Zounds thing, and I'm cool with that. It's not a big deal. I just genuinely like this pedal, so when I tell you this pedal is good, I'm telling you as a person, as Andrew, that this pedal is great. That said, I am going to try and mention details about the settings that I'm using here so that it's more broadly useful even if you don't have one of these. So if you want to use a different kind of emulation or the real equipment, then you can still apply the things that I'm talking about today. Are we cool with that? Cool? Okay, good. Get back to the video.
We're going to start with the Ampeg SVT and the matching 1x15 cabinet. We don't have a 215, but it doesn't matter. It sounds fine, I promise. For settings, I've engaged both the ultra high and ultra low to get us that nice scoop sound, as well as boosted the treble just a little bit to compensate for how dark our bass sounds. Speaking of which, I don't have a Ripper, even though my Seric back there kind of looks like one, but we do have this Epiphone T-Bird that I picked up a little while ago, and that's going to get us the exact kind of sound that we want, because it's dual humbuckers, and that's kind of the sauce here. If you don't have something with dual humbuckers like this, then a jazz bass is probably your next best bet. If you want to go out and get something, I don't recommend getting one of these. They're not very ergonomic or easy to play, but you can get like an Epiphone Embassy, which is all the sound and none of the problems. Well, less of the problems. Anyway, one last note I would say is I did just put fresh strings on this thing, and it helps tremendously. If you haven't put new strings on your bass in a couple of months, then that is a good thing to do, because you do really need that top end sizzle, which just does not come through with old strings, especially on a bass like this. All right, so with just those three pieces, let's plug it in and we'll see how it sounds thus far. Okay, so we've got a good start here, but I want more. And so to get there, we're going to add the BDDI and a compressor. This is going to help us get a little bit more grind out of the bass, as well as help us control the dynamics, squeeze that bottom end so it's not so boomy. Okay, I think that sounds pretty good. Let's hear it in context.
I found God.
actual patch is really straightforward this time around. Let's actually talk a little bit about how Krist plays. It's very on brand. He has this tendency to play his lines all on one string, opting to slide around the neck rather than play in one position. And you can hear this really well on Lounge Act. So if I was going to play this line, I'd probably play it something like this in the first position. But the right way to play this is to slide around on the E string like this. Krist Novoselic does have a strong association with the Proco Rat pedal, and despite not using one on this album, we're going to throw one into our patch anyway because there is one song on this album that does feature a fuzz tone, and that song is Breed. The sound you're hearing here was made by overdriving the console, so they cranked up the amp, increased the gain on the console, and that's the sound that you're getting. So for our Zoom patch, we are going to add the Zoom's version of the Rat pedal, which they adorably call the squeak, crank the overdrive and the filter all the way up, roll the tone off on our bass, and this is the sound that you get. Until this point, we've been using both pickups up full, but there is one song that sounds like he's using just the bridge pickup all by itself. And I know a lot of people are not really into that sound, not very many people use it. Obviously, Krist didn't use it very much because it's just on this one song, but I think it is a cool tone, worth noting. Here's how it sounds. That's how you sound like Krist Novoselic of Nirvana. If you want to try out this patch for yourself, you can go to my Patreon link down below and download it or use the settings for free. That's right, you do not have to pay it. Although, if you want to join these fine people in donating $1 or more a month, I would greatly appreciate it. This support means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching this video, and a big thanks to the Bass channel for hosting me here. Really have appreciated being able to reach more people with these videos because I think that they are a really great resource, especially for new players. Anyway, do be sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the next one, and I will see you there. AMP out!